Welcome to the Time to Fly podcast. It's time to give your business wings and take flight to achieve more impact, influence, and income with unique perspectives, tools, and tips from successful entrepreneurs and business professionals to help your business fly. Here to educate, encourage, and entertain you with their own unique perspectives and experience, plus sharing anecdotes of growing up as cowgirls. Here's your host, Nikole Haumont.
Welcome to this episode of Time to Fly. Give your business wings. I'm your host, Nikole Haumont, here with ReadySetGrowAcademy.com co-founder, Sye Wells. Sye transforms and monetizes businesses. She is an inspiration to thousands of entrepreneurs who seek to engage, connect, and multiply. Online, her newspaper, She'sTheCEO.com, inspires women-owned businesses to excel, reach higher, and create a greater global impact. Sye is relentlessly committed to effective business solutions and powerfully simple communications. She is a sought-after business consultant and speaker. I've personally had the opportunity to work with Sye and her co-founder of the ReadySetGrowAcademy.com for most of this year. I have learned from her about how great it is to be able to handle the family life along with the business life and continue to grow it. With her expertise and her partner's expertise, I have been able to create and launch StandOutPro.com. Not only is she a businesswoman and CEO, she's also a mom and loves to work out. Today we're going to talk about family and how to take business owners from being pretty to profitable.
We're going to talk about two different things with her. First are the quadrants that her and her family try to live within. And then we're going to go into how business owners cannot be just pretty, but also profitable with a new program that she is developing. Sye, can you tell us a little bit more about your four quadrants or more that you and your family try to live within?
Absolutely, Nikole. I appreciate that question. It's one of my favorite things to talk about. I think really as a business owner, what we find is that usually when we have a home life that has to be integrated, I have 4 kids. I have 2 that I biologically created, and I have 2 bonus all sons. And so we have a fully integrated life. And when I talk to the business owners, they wonder, how do you do that? Because usually they're having some trouble with their fitness, but they've got their money rocking or different things like that. So we believe in focusing on faith, family, fitness, and finances, and then we want to sprinkle fun in all of those different things, or it doesn't feel like it's worth it. And so how do we do that? Well, faith is an everyday thing. Faith is definitely an everyday thing. So every single day, our kids actually use the Bible app that's on their phones. That's the one time they get to use their phones during the day. They go through a devotion, and they actually have to do a video and a write-up about it and talk to us about it afterwards. So we get them working on their speaking. We get their minds focused on God and really set their mindset for the day. And then my husband and I, we do the same thing. We focus in on starting our day, not in the hurry, not in the rush, not in the busyness of checking emails, texts, what's on social media, all those different things. We focus in on faith first. And we integrate that within our life. We're very involved in our church. We're very involved in giving back, and our kids actually volunteer. My 13-year-old is actually on the tech team, so he does a lot there too. So we really believe in integrating faith into the family. We also have a blended family. I mean, there's so many people that are just like us, but we have a blended life. My husband was married before he met me, and so when I married him, I married into a family and actually added 2 kids. I became a mom instantly. So with that, when I had my other 2, we wanted to make sure it didn't feel disconjointed, that it felt like it was all together. And so I don't even use the word step. We use the word bonus. And we're fully involved all the way. As a family, we do vacations together, we plan together, we create goals together, everything as a family, and including fitness. When we go to the gym, we go to the gym together. You look at our kids' steps, we actually track steps and fitness goals every single day. They're hitting at around 20,000 steps a day. And how do we do that? Well, we all train in martial arts. So Krav Maga, Kempo, kickboxing, we do that together as a family. They also have certain goals that they hit every single day, and we reward them accordingly. So they have certain push-up goals. They have certain, we have little circuit training. We have them go out on the trampoline. But we just really have their goals integrated also incorporating their passion. So both of them love basketball. And so basketball is added into there. We actually track their progress. We record how they're doing. We have them doing drills and different things like that. So we blend that fun with fitness together. And with the finances, we believe in raising a full child. So we have an at-home curriculum for them in addition to what they learn in school. Both of our kids have businesses and they support us in the family business. They have business plans. They both have e-commerce sites, and we actually had them put together a plan and present it like they presented it like Shark Tank to us to see if we would help them fund or how did we get the funding to start their business. So that's kind of us in a nutshell. We just wanted to set a pace that we didn't have as kids. I don't come from the silver spoon. My mom and my dad had zero money. We didn't do vacations. We didn't do things like that. We were always broke and living under the limit of whatever the poverty level was. We lived under that. And so we didn't want that for our children. We didn't want them to think that if they just went to school, everything would be magical and things would just happen for them. So it also helped us create that non-entitlement community in our household as well.
You are not just a mom, but a boy mom. I totally get that. Thankfully, I only have one because I don't know how you guys do it with 4 of them around. All the activities that you and your husband and your children do, this is one thing we ask our interviewees is, what app or system do you use to track where everything is and what's going on?
We use Slack, S-L-A-C-K. As a family, that's almost like having your own Facebook where you can bring your team. And for this unit, it will be our family team together. This is where we can upload documents. We can track and integrate all kinds of tools and systems. It actually integrates and talks to just about every system app you can find, even your Google Calendar. If you're using other tools and systems, your email can actually portal into there. So if there's emails or anything else that we need to communicate with each other, we all log into Slack. And it also has an app that you can download onto your phone, and we communicate through that. So every other tool that we use, whether it be Trello, whether it be Google Calendar or anything else like that, it's integrated with Slack.
Wow, I love Slack for business. I never thought about using it for the family, but that makes sense with as many different projects as you guys have going on, not only business-wise, but raising your children too.
One app that we have integrated on all of our kids' devices is called the MM Guardian app. And I feel like it's critical that every parent knows about this app. It actually helps me sleep at night because I did mention that we have our kids using devices and sometimes they're online and doing different things. And we believe in guarding and protecting their minds, their hearts, and their spirits. And so how do we do that when we're integrating all these other things to keep them focused? And we use the MM Guardian app. Every single parent deserves to have that on their kids' devices. And what that does is it allows you to see every single thing that your kid is doing. You can turn off time. You can actually, you never need to take your device. You can just shut it off if you want to or block certain sites, or you can see every single thing that's happening. And some might say, oh, is that intrusive? Absolutely not. We want to make sure that when there's text messages going on, I know what's going on. When my kid says he's going to the school bus, that he actually went there. I can see the location. I can see every single thing that's happening there. And we can track to see if they were supposed to be on a learning tool, how long do they spend on that? If we gave them a 30-minute goal, we can track the time using that. That's one of those apps that I think every parent should actually know about and incorporate. You add it to your phone and your kid's device.
So what we're going to do now is we're going to take a quick sponsor break. And when we come back, we're going to talk to Sye Wells about what she is doing to help business owners go from being just pretty to profitable.
This episode is sponsored by Standout Pro, teaching you how to stand out and get more clients using LinkedIn. Get your free gift at standoutpro.com.
Now that we're back from our commercial break, we are going to talk about taking business owners from pretty to profitable. Sye, can you tell us more about how that came about and what you were doing?
Absolutely. I'd love to share about this. So when I first started out doing what we do, the beginnings of what we do now, I would meet a lot of business owners who had a goal, especially women, of getting themselves out there on an online platform, and they would get stuck in all the pretty stuff. They would get stuck in the logo, the brand colors, flying objects on their site. the swirly stuff, the gold emblem, and they would go back and forth. Believe it or not, Nikole, sometimes it took somebody 2 years to figure out the best logo for their site. And they would get really caught up in the branding aspect of it. And this is primarily the women that I saw doing this. And then I ended up being at a high level coaching program, and the investment was over $25,000. And it really blew my mind to see we were helping these business owners create their online e-courses and signature programs and things of that nature. And the thing, lo and behold, that was stopping everything was their brand color. You know, making sure they had all these signature stuff that had nothing to do with the end goal. Like, what were the next steps after you got your colors up and you've got this beautiful logo? Like, let's talk about your profit strategy. And that was always last. And so it would take them so long to even get to the point that they were so pretty and never ever profitable. And you see this a lot online too. You see all these influencers with these pretty sites, especially women, who look really good, and they spend a lot of money investing on the look to make themselves look legit. But if you go back and look at the infrastructure, the beginning and middle and end goals, it has not been fully thought out or even developed. And so that's where really focusing in on that really took charge for me.
I can see that people do get stuck on that, and they just need to get something out there and tweak as they go. So what are you doing now that is helping them to get to that profitable stage?
What I do now is when someone meets with me, and let's say they have a goal, maybe it's not to create a course, but that's where I focus in on. I focus in on creating courses, academies, intellectual property items, and things of that nature. That's what our company focuses in on. But if they were to come to me and say something like, I want a website, they have to go through a diagnostic first. Okay, so this gets their mind thinking about what it is that they really want to do. That actually helps them help themselves. And so I'll ask them questions like, tell me more about your goals. What is your main objective? When the person lands on your site, what do you want them to do first? Start to go through things of that nature. Then we get to the real goal. Oh, I actually wanted to get speaking engagement. Oh, really? So why is there a pretty banner up there that talks about you like healthy foods and to visit you on YouTube? Why are we doing that if you want to get booked for speaking engagement? Where are we connecting the dots here? And so I first start with a diagnostic usually. And then we move forward to actually planning out who they're looking for. That's another thing, Nikole, believe it or not, people create things without ever thinking about who is it for. And so they're wondering why they've created this amazing thing and why no one's buying it. They got so pretty, then they actually got into action, but never thought, have I spoke the language to the person on the other side of this that this is really made for? Have I even considered what gives them hell? What keeps them up at night? And actually what would we give them to the other side of heaven where they would feel at peace and ease and really feel joyful? Have I actually thought about those things before I created this site, this speaking presentation, this course, or whatever else? And so they really have to dive into who is their audience, what are the goals as it relates to that audience, and then what are the next steps? Because after you create, let's say the first, I'm going to create maybe a download. Okay, what do you want that download to send them to? Oh, well, I forgot. I don't know what I want to do with that download. What's the next step? Oh, so is your end goal to actually get them to your retreat? Well, let's backtrack and talk about all the other steps before then. There might be 7 profit streams before you get to the retreat. They never even thought about that. They were just worried about getting something done.
And so with the courses and academies that you develop, how do people start? Do they, just reach out to you on the website that you have? Where do they go from there?
Oh, that's a great question. So what I actually have people do now, I have them go through a free course called Ready, Set, Grow. So that they come prepared. They come with some knowledge and they feel comfortable about the process and they've actually thought about their goals ahead of time. They will go to ReadySetGrowAcademy.com and take the free course. It's 4 modules and it's going to give them a lot of meat and potatoes. They're going to get some action guides, checklists, and actual training over 4 90-minute video training sessions with laser coaching in between there for them to actually get activated and move forward. And then they can decide at the end if actually working with us and our team is the best fit for them, and if so, how. So they can actually engage us and get a breakthrough session. We can discuss their goals. But the first step would be to go to Ready, Set, Grow Academy, ReadySetGrowAcademy.com, and take the free course.
Now, I have been through the free course, and as I mentioned in the introduction, I actually work with Sye Wells and her business partner on this, and it is definitely worth your time to go through those modules. I'll make sure we put that link in the show notes also, so you guys can access the Academy right there, and it's completely free. Now, I do know that you put out a lot of free content. What is the reasoning behind putting out free content?
Oh, because a lot of people use Google as their business coach or random Facebook trolling as their coaching methodology. And so I feel like when we give people value and give them the real information that I wish was available to me in the beginning, they're able to make a solid decision if we are a good fit. But also we have more educated business owners out there not flooding the market and making our industry look bad. Because although we are consultants and we do some coaching, when we create a better industry overall, we make a better atmosphere for anyone that's looking to hire a coach or a consultant. They will come to the table more prepared and presenting the industry a whole lot better. So when we create free content, it gives people a good look at how we work, how we operate. And if they notice that I laugh too much, they don't like that, that's great. We're not a good fit. I'm okay with saying that, we're not a good fit and maybe you should find somebody else that works better with you.
Now, I do know finding the fit, that is definitely something a lot of people need to be cognizant of. I know just from working with you and your business partner that you're both implementators, and so am I. So can you talk a little bit more about how important it is to find the right person who's going to coach you if you're going to invest money with them?
Well, the best way to find the right person to coach you is, one, be educated on what it is that you need. You need to be fully clear on what it is that you need and what is actually missing. So that's why I would recommend a Ready, Set, Growth School for them to go through. The next thing I would do is do some due diligence. Take something free or pick them up on a free call and see how the conversation goes. Are they interested in you and your goals? Have they had a track record of success in doing what it is that you would like to do? I think also the other part of that is you have to know what characteristics that actually absolutely have to be in place for you to have a great working relationship with the other person on the other side. As the coachee, I would be looking for different character traits. If you know that you don't want to deal with somebody that's very harsh, too much, tell it like it is, in your face, cursing a lot. And sometimes that works for people and sometimes that doesn't. Even if they get you results, sometimes it can feel like an accosting to your body. So if that's something that you don't want to deal with, make sure that you add that as, okay, so when I speak with them, what kind of language are they using? How do they address me? How do those types of things go? Because you can enter into a relationship with somebody that could absolutely get the job done for you, but you have so much resistance to even getting on the phone because you don't like working with them. One of the things that we do ahead of time is we take a personality assessment and we also assess the strengths and weaknesses in a profile. And we also do a breakthrough coaching assessment. Because our offerings are not something that don't require a lot of our time. If somebody engages with us, usually we're right there in the thick of things with them. So we want to make sure that we're not wasting their time or hours. We actually have to vet them through those various channels. And the last thing would be that they would have to go through a coaching call. And we ask them some tough questions. Are you a type of person that's willing to commit? This type of investment be difficult for you? Do you find that you're the type of person that likes to quit when the going gets tough? What are your blind spots? What kind of things are showing up for you? We ask those types of questions so we can know. It's not that everything's an out because they were honest. We do expect complete honesty, but we need to know ahead of time that you're the type of person that once you take the commitment that you will be willing to see it through no matter if life gets in the way or anything else that happens. You can create the right thing and the wrong people participate in it and it can drive you crazy wondering if what you're doing is working. It really can. So it's so important to really hone in on your ideal market and only speak to them when it comes, as it pertains to what it is that you're offering. Because some people really love you and they'll take your stuff anyway, but they're not the right fit. And you have to be willing to let them know ahead of time, even in your copy, this course is for people who this is not a good fit for you if blah, blah, blah. I found even adding that copy into a site, into the program, into the video actually helped identify, oh, me, I'm the person, they're speaking to me, or, oh, crap, that's me, I'm not a good fit. If it says it's for newbies and you're somebody mid-level entrepreneur, then it's not for you, right? Because you're going to be learning things like, what is AWeber, or what is this, or what is that? And you already know what that stuff is. So that's not a good fit for you, even if the person has, you like them and everything else. So knowing what it is that you want to attract is so important. I love to focus in on signature courses and group coaching. I encourage every single business owner and consulting to find a way to package up their expertise and offer it in a way that is scalable. One of the things that we find is that people are so gifted, especially if they're primarily offering a service. Like when we met you, Nikole, you were primarily offering an amazing service to your clients. But as a mother with a young child, the time runs out very quickly. It really does. And so there's only so many of you and only so many hours in the day. When you create something like a course or a group coaching program, you can get in front of the room and 100 people can say yes, and you don't have to lose sleep at night because it's designed to speak to and impact a group of people and not just work one-to-one with people. So that's the other thing that I would absolutely encourage every person to do is find a way to package your expertise in such a way that it brings leverage, time freedom, and scalability to your business.
Well, that is some great advice. I do have a few more questions and then we'll be wrapping up. Where do you turn to stay up to date in your field? Is there a book or a podcast or any particular resource that you find yourself going back to?
That's a great question. I actually believe in the power of a life team, the concept of a life team. And that's the main place that I turn. I have 12 people that are very close to me that I have invited onto my life team that all specialize in different areas of life that I want to aspire to get better and that could help me accountable too. And we meet and we discuss my goals, and they're all qualified in those various areas, whether they be spiritually, whether they be business-wise, whether they be on the parenting aspect of things of that nature. So one of my mentors, actually, we're in a group, and the average income of the people in there they're earning over 6 figures a month. And so what actually happens with that is it elevates my goals and I get access to their resources and tools too. If I were to recommend just a general resource for people that I love to listen to, I'd probably say Entrepreneur on Fire podcast. That's not my life team, but that's just something that gives you a variety of different types of entrepreneurs that have different types of walks of life that have had different levels of success. They give advice there. So I would say Entrepreneur on Fire for that. Book that I love, How to Make a Fortune Selling to Women, is one of the books that I love that a lot of people do not have access to. But if your market is women, I love that book, How to Make a Fortune Selling to Women, because you need to know women operate differently than men. What are the things that make them say yes and move closer to a yes? And if you're speaking in a masculine way, you'll probably find a lot of no's and you don't know what's happening there. So I believe in reading that book and actually probably studying that book, How to Make a Fortune Selling to Women.
So surround yourself with people who are going to help you grow. Listen to Entrepreneur on Fire and Time to Fly podcast. I'm just going to put that in there. And check out the book, How to Make a Fortune Selling to Women. These all sound like excellent resources, and we'll put those in the show notes too.
Wait, what did you say about the podcast? You definitely got to give it the time of day that it deserves. Absolutely. Entrepreneur on Fire. And you want to stay tuned and connected to Time to Fly podcast. You're absolutely right. Because I do have a little back-end knowledge of some of the amazing people that are going to be just sharing all their wisdoms, their tips, and giving so much value here. And so we don't want to rush through that. I absolutely highly recommend that you stay connected, get it on all your devices, and let your friends and family and colleagues know that this is here and this is where they want to come first. When it comes to just getting good information, every single person, I know that you vetted them. I had to go through the process too. And so, yeah, definitely. I don't want you to brush over that. Definitely come to the Time to Fly podcast and make sure you save it, bookmark it, do whatever you need to do so that you don't miss any of these episodes.
Well, thank you for that, Sye. We do appreciate it. So this last question, if you could go back in time, what advice would you give to your younger self and when would you give this to you?
If I could go back in time, the advice that I would give to my younger self, I would give this information or this advice to myself probably at about 7 years old. And what I would say is it doesn't matter. Don't worry about the level of authority a person has in your life They don't have authority over your future. Trust God, believe in yourself, and don't worry about the they. They said, they told me to. And I also would tell myself, remove the limits that the past generations gave you. I believed for the longest time that, race and gender and socioeconomic status and all those different things could really impact was that I could go in life because I heard it over and over again, not only from my parents, but also at school. Somebody stand for them and say, you'll be at or just under the same level of income and status that your parents are today. And they told me that in school, and it freaked me out. It really freaked me out. We were broke and the broken home and everything was crazy. And I'm like, no, not me. I don't want that. But it actually anchored in. And I think there was a subconscious belief put in there that drove my thought process, thinking that because of the color of my skin, because of my background, because of all these different things, because of every single story that I started to believe, I won't ever get to be that Michael Jordan of my family, the Oprah of my family. And it absolutely is just not true.
Well, that's very powerful advice to your younger self. And you have definitely blown past all of those stereotypes. So I am so glad that you have. And there are other women and men out there who need to know more about your journey.
Thank you for joining me today on this episode of Time to Fly. Be sure to join us for our next show and give your business wings.
A big thank you to this episode's sponsor, Standout Pro. Be sure to get your free gift at standoutpro.com.
Join our fly. Stay informed of all things Time to Fly by subscribing to our newsletter at timetoflypodcast.com. And be sure to tune in to our next show.